And I can.
Oh, this is lovely.
Isn't it pretty?
Wow, that is pretty.
And you know, the more parsley, the better. Parsley is one of those herbs, too, that is just full of anti-inflammatory properties. Thank you. And I am going to come around with some toast. Yes. Do you have yours yet? Do you like it? Isn't it wonderful? Well, you know what? Of course, the white kidney bean is what gives it the flavor, which is one of the reasons why I like to use it so much. It has a lot of flavor, just like all of these do. They have their unique flavor profiles, but the ones we're more familiar with are the ones we'll gravitate to. And this one, it's just, it carries all kinds of herbs very cleanly, very nicely, and it's a big filling bean. It's so important. I'm not one to ever say no meat, but I am one to say add more vegetables to your diet. You will be full longer. It'll keep you away from the sweets. It's what your body needs. It gives you a boost of iron. Beans. Beans too. Beans and beans. We'll ask what kinds of beans they are. And I'm sure that these contain black beans, which I also love. And those are one of those beans that talk about not needing to soak. A black bean is surprisingly light. It's not quite, and also known as turtle beans. I forgot that, but that's right. Thank you. But these guys are very hard, but they're small, and so their cook time is less. These do not have to be soaked ahead of time. They'll take a little bit longer to cook from that state, but you're only still talking about maybe an hour if you quick soak them and then cook them, or 2 hours if you don't soak them. And the resulting black broth is what you see that flavors dishes like moros y Christians, which is black beans and rice mixed together, or even on the side, or black bean soup. Turtle beans are extremely high in iron, and all of them have a level of calcium that your body also needs. So it's one of those, every bean that you see on this table is considered a perfect food. For food, yes, for what it delivers.
All the proteins that you need.
Right, well, yes, but adding to, in terms of having one item to eat, you have such a high level of different ingredients that your body needs. If you compare this to, say, a stalk of celery or something like that, you're going to get much higher levels of protein and essential minerals from your beans, and iron as well, than the celery. So that doesn't mean that you shouldn't eat that. It just means that giving your body what it needs sometimes means that you should have more than just a lettuce and tomato and celery salad.
The vegetarian has a problem with getting all the amino acids.
And so therefore their diets are heavy in beans.
Oh.
Yes. Yes. We were just saying that, I'm sorry, what is your name?
Bill.
I'm Venus. Nice to meet you. Bill shared that he's diabetic, or was diabetic.
Yeah. He's a nurse.
Jean's his wife and his nurse.
You're on a plant-based diet. Non-diabetic now.
What was the big switch? Were you like meat and potatoes, or?
Oh yeah. Basically the sad standard American diet.
Yeah.
Well, no, actually we ate very well. I gained 30 pounds.
Likes his sugar, but not anymore.
Not anymore, right.
Excellent.
It's about just retraining your taste buds to,
And you
yeah.
are what you eat is really true.
Well, that's very true. Absolutely. And I think portion sizes are also playing a key role.
Yes, and we're taught to eat meat all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I thought I would evaporate if I didn't have to.
Didn't happen.
No.
No.
Well, it did, but in a good way.
Are you still on primarily a plant-based diet?
He is more than I am,
Yeah.
but he's lost 30 pounds. I've only lost 12.
Mm-hmm.
Which is
After the-
typical for him. He's a guy. Yeah. Not
Right.
fair.
So are you adding more beans to your diet as well? Beans and other fresh peas and things added to your salads. That's the thing. It is so easy to get these into your diet. A lot easier than you think. If you have a pantry that's stocked with a variety of different items, it's just about being creative. There are no wrong approaches to it, unless you burn it, because that I do too, even in my kitchen. I'll burn stuff. But I encourage, especially in classes, that it's okay not to like something, but it's not okay to avoid trying it. You gotta at least try it. And you might be pleasantly surprised. And so, as I said, I'm going to now go and see what I can add to Karen and Mike's next food delivery to surprise them with something extraordinary that contains one of these mystery beans.
We've got a lot to choose from.
Absolutely, yes. It's an impressive list.
Have you worked?
I got a lot of it if you want it.
Well, we can't let you get away without sharing some nice dessert.
Oh yes, the desserts.
I've been eyeballing those, and what are we looking at?
So one of the things I found most intriguing, I'm Katie Kopsik, I'm the pastry chef here at Gentle Harvest, about beans is that beans can be used, they are gluten-free, and beans can be used because they have a similar protein and starch profile. You can use it in place of flour in a lot of things. So these black bean brownies, or I guess it's more of a cake, what I did is I pureed the black beans and we added oil, cocoa powder. I used coconut sugar in this. You know coconut sugar. It's a low glycemic sweetener that's unrefined, and just baked it, and they keep things so nice and soft and gives it, I wouldn't use it for a cake, but for something that's supposed to be dense, like a brownie or like a cookie, I think beans make a really good foil for if you want to transfer over to a gluten-free diet.
Whatever it is.
I've really been enjoying giving people brownies and then telling them that there's beans in them and watching their faces.
It's always nice.
So the other thing that Venus is going to pass around, these are flourless peanut butter cookies, and this is just natural peanut butter, the kind that comes with the oil on the top. I try and avoid palm oil as much as I can, so I try not to use the creamy peanut butters. But yeah, so this is just natural peanut butter, eggs, coconut sugar, peanuts, salt, and a little bit of baking powder. And it just comes together with your hands in a really nice dough. And I thought it was a really nice, you wouldn't even know that they're gluten-free if somebody didn't tell you. So keeping the ingredients.
Coconut sugar as compared to regular sugar?
So coconut sugar is similar. It's a very molassesy kind of sugar, but it comes from boiling down coconut sap the same way you would boil down maple sap to create maple syrup. What they do is they boil down the coconut sap and then they induce it to crystallize and grind it. And it's a really dark kind of molassesy sugar, but it has a lower glycemic index, and it's really sustainable because coconut trees, palm trees, kind of almost like I don't even know how, they just still propagate, yeah. So it doesn't take as much out of the land as like sugar beets or sugar cane does. And it's also paleo friendly, which is how I learned about it as an unrefined sugar substitute, but it subs 1-for-1 for sugar. So in something like this where you're not really gonna notice the color difference and you don't need something to be stark white like an angel food cake, I think it's a really nice, different flavor texture.
And the recipe for this is on the website?
It didn't get printed out, but I can give it to you. I can give it to all of you, yeah. I'll write it
Me
down.
too,
Yeah.
because I'm going to make the brownies for my kids.
Great. Well, the brownies you have here, the black bean
good.
brownies.
Oh, yes. Okay,
Super
good.
easy. You don't even need a mixer.
Well, I
so.
have someone who has nut allergies, so I can't
Oh yeah.
do the peanut, but it's delicious. I had one earlier. I'll have to call you and ask about subbing it in for some of the dishes that I make for some of my clients as well. Because anytime that I can sub out something that I'd rather not be using but maybe is called for something healthier that isn't going to damage the dish or alter it in any way, is the way to go. It's one of the things we've learned is true is that not all substitutes are good for you. You might, like Bob's Red Mill might have a gluten-free flour, but if it's extraordinarily high in sugar grams, then is that really good for you? Is it a good idea to sub gluten for the high sugar content? It depends on your health, the state of your health, but I would guess that it's probably not, especially with a big push to get rid of
This is the coconut
sugar.
sugar. I just wanted to ask that in case you guys want.
Wonderful.
Coconut
It's beautiful. Isn't that a beautiful
Take
color?
a little spoon and taste it. Get your.
Do you have favorite authors that you follow as far as nutrition or recipes? Or?
Yes, I am a big fan of a woman named Rebecca Katz, and she is the author of the Cancer Fighting Kitchen cookbook. She is based in California, and she herself she's vegan, but recognizes the body's need for repair, restoration, and recovery when you're facing cancer treatment. So, and she's a big proponent, as I am, of as food as medicine. And so I do try to keep up with her findings in the food as medicine movement on what's working in terms of preparing the body for treatment for various illnesses or helping someone through. I had someone come in to the kitchen this week, had cancer, was just diagnosed, and was going into treatment next week, and I sent her home with a number of different nutrient-dense food items, soups and stews that she can put into her freezer and eat in small quantities as she goes. And again, everything is organic, clean, very nutrient-dense. Vegetables are used, clean organic turkey, things like that matter to the body, especially when you're trying to fight illness. So I find her to be an authority on that subject. And then I just sort of spread that out into the world with all of my other cooking, because in addition to that, I also make lamb chili or something like that, which is really nice. And it might not be what your doctor might prescribe, but if you're not facing health issues, you can still have something like that and still eat clean.
And I'm sorry, what was her name again?
Rebecca Katz, with a K. And she's got several books out now on the subject of, and with the recipes, but specifically preparing for that. And I love another gentleman. I have to modify some of his recipes, but he's all about plant-based eating. His name is Joel Furman, and he authored the cookbook Eat to Live. And there's all about eating a clean plant-based diet, which includes lots of these beans that we have in front of you today. Because he's one too, when you're talking about trying to monitor your blood sugar, stabilize it, but try not to avoid beans because of the carbohydrate content in them, because in fact because they are not always as easily digested by the body, it still manages to take away the nutrients it needs, and the rest passes through. So you're not absorbing as much of the carbohydrate content in the bean as you otherwise, as you would if you're sensitive to it at all. It's easier for you to know that you can still have them and not be in danger of going over that carbohydrate threshold set by your physician. So, yes.
Do the yellow split peas taste like green split peas?
They are milder in flavor. And I don't cook them too typically. I usually will make like a yellow lentil instead. And because I personally am not a fan of the green, the mealiness of a dried pea, I would almost always prepare a fresh bean or pea to dried any day, but they do have a similarity, but they both have that same kind of mealy texture, and this one is a little bit lighter.
You know, I bought that dried bean, pounded dried beans, and it's mixed, right? Because you're supposed to make a
Right.
beautiful mixed
Yes.
bean soup.
Mhm.
What I found is it never works out.
Oh, why?
Since that, because you're cooking them all for the same amount of time. So the
That's
little
true.
beans that are in the mix,
They get cooked
those are
faster.
overcooked, but
Right.
The largest beans would
Right.
still be firm. So I couldn't
Right.
do it.
Oh, well, you know, I have to
But I don't
confess.
pre-soak them. So, I mean, maybe there's something.
Well, you would still, though, they'd still cook that at that same rate. Yeah, yeah. The only beauty in that, I think, is that the smaller beans will add to the creaminess as they break down.
Right.
Yeah, so
You won't see
they,
them anymore.
right, and they're adding their benefits to the broth itself. But yeah, I have to confess, I don't typically buy that. I'm a big fan of buying individualized ingredients for their different qualities and then adding them as I go. But I was just saying earlier that one of my favorite beans is the white cannellini. I think we have red ones here. And I love dark red beans. I love pinto beans. And black-eyed peas are also pretty fabulous in a salad. So,
Is there something called Hoppin' John?
yes.
Hoppin' John with black-eyed peas.
Black-eyed peas.
Delicious.
Yes.
That recipe. It's a southern flavor.
Yes.
Super yummy.
Yeah, it really is. And it makes a nice cold salad that you can have in the summer. Yes.
Those cookies have a crunch in them. Is there nuts in there?
I put Virginia peanuts chopped up in there, in addition to the peanut butter.
So it's really, it was an education, but it's a joy too to see this variety of different, I have to stop and think about it, pulses that we've learned about today, because it excites me about what it is I can do in my kitchen. So I hope it happens for you as well.
Is the Warrenton Wellness Kitchen, is it a restaurant, or do people go there to eat, or what's the?
No, it's a working kitchen,
Yeah.
and it has retail soups and stews and entrees to
So
go
you can
to the
purchase
public.
to go
Yes,
soups and stews.
we have a soup of the day, but we don't. It's not a restaurant per se.
You're not going to sit in there and eat.
No,
Okay.
nope, nope. Right, bone broth is nice, and I'm a private chef, so usually if I'm not cooking for people who are coming in to buy meals to go, then I am cooking for some of my private clients. Yes, yes. One of whom is a huge fan of Gentle Harvest, so I had to let her know that I was coming. So, any other questions? Well, thank you. This has been a joy to be here today. You have my card, so if you have any other questions, you can email me if you're interested in how to cook something. I can shoot you back a quick email and let you know what would be the best way to go about it. If you can't find something in your local market, give a call to the market here, and I'm sure they can special order it for you. So, well, thank you very much. It's been a pleasure. Thank you. And an applause for our pastry chef for this fabulous dessert she gave us.